The views and opinions by the host do not reflect that of the guest and the management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guest do not reflect that of the host and the management.
Hello, my name's Harriton Watko. Welcome to this program. Now, this is the second time we're going to do a show right here in iTech under Talk to Harry. But instead of me discussing issues on governance, climate change, consumer branding, etc., I thought it would be wise to introduce to you the potential hosts who will likewise, like me, be doing shows here. Okay, in front of me, we've got two professionals. We have Ray V2, right to my right, and let me see, we've got Dr. John Chope to my left. Now, Ray is, you know what? I'll let them introduce themselves and tell you what they are. Ray, let's start with you.
Yes, thank you, Harry. It's great to be in your show.
Well, it's going to be your show eventually, but tell us first, Ray, who are you? What do you do? I know you write. I know you do you're always writing. You're a journalist. And I know you do a lot of public seminars and you do a lot of corporate events. So somewhat you're not just an inspirational speaker. You channel in on fintech, on all kinds of technical, financial aid, so to speak. So this is what you do, right?
Yes. So I put up a company 6 years ago. It's called Hungry Workhorse. It's a digital and culture transformation consulting firm. That's a mouthful, Harry. But it's essentially we help companies come up with their strategies, how to execute, and even change in behavior, mindset of their employees. And this is all across small, medium, and large corporations. So we've been doing that for the last 6 years now. So my wife is co-founder of this company.
I've met Kay, and she is also an inspirational speaker, so to speak. So in other words, you help companies that may be in distress, who may know they're in distress, or who may not even know they're in distress.
That's correct.
So pinag-aaralan mo muna yung korporasyon.
Yes. So not only private companies, even government, GOCCs. We've been engaged with GOCCs, and many of the GOCCs need help as well. Di ba? When pandemic struck, all these social distancing has affected many GOCCs, and they needed also to transform, just like private companies.
Right. Let's introduce our other guest. We've got Dr. John Chope, who likewise is an inspirational speaker, and likewise, Mr. V2, also teaches and helps both the military and corporate. Tama, John?
Yeah, but not just the military, even the police. So on my part, I was even at this time, I'm a instructor or a professor at the Philippine Public Safety College. And to people who know me, if you would look at my Facebook account, my description is just cigarette vendor.
Tatanungin ko nga sa'yo ba't ka nagbebenta ng sigarilyo?
Usually I speak in codes, and cigarette vendor is some sort of a code pertaining to the job that I'm doing. Now, my line of expertise is more on law enforcement and public safety education, but I'm a graduate of different courses: business administration, public safety, environmental studies, organizational development, education, and also social development. And as of now, I'm busy in the law enforcement practice, being a consultant of the Philippine National Police and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. And I'm proud to say that the new anti-drug program of the PNP, the Philippine National Police, I'm the one who authored it. It's called the Programador. That is the anti-drug operation through reinforcement and education, which means that it is more focused on the demand reduction rather than the supply reduction aspects.
I've got two academics right in front of me, and I'm feeling very insecure that I don't have a PhD. I mean, This guy's got 6 now, and I thought he had 4. And you are teaching pa in my alma mater. I mean, and going around. I'm feeling very insecure. But then again, hang on. I'm a communicator. So, why Hungry Horse?
Hungry Workhorse.
Workhorse, yes.
It sprang from 7 years ago when my wife and I we were thinking of a business, no. And paano ang background namin ng wife ko is into tech, no. And we are we have been great salespeople in tech, no. We do business development, and we noticed that companies, especially tech companies, they approach us, no, and looking for if we know someone who can do this job in this tech. Sabi namin, I think what we lack in the Philippines are hungry workhorses, no? Ito yung kabayo, no? Paano in professional life, in work environment, to succeed, kailangan maging porsigido. This is what we call fire in the belly, no? Ito yung when you are working, kailangan meron kang fire in the belly, no? So that's the reason why we put up Hungry Workhorse, no? Because we want to produce hungry workhorses.
Will that be the name of your show here in iTech?
Yes, I know. Probably that's the name of the show.
Yun ang trade mo. Now, what is your show going to be like?
Okay. So, what we notice, Harry, in the Philippines, there's already digitization happening, technologies all over, especially during the pandemic. Kaya lang, we need to bring technology to the grassroots. Right? So, we've been preaching technology in companies, corporations, but not reaching, SMEs, small businesses. And I think we thought that this is something that we can enable, as professionals, and it can be a service to our nation, by communicating, educating, even enabling, ordinary people and even small businesses. Ito yung kulang a lot of businesses now.
But isn't this the work of the DICT, so to speak? Not necessarily. Yun ang government lang.
Oh yeah. Well, if you see DICT, and we saw already the pronouncements of the new DICT secretary. So they want to improve the connectivity nationwide.
Well, first, kailangan palakasin natin ang internet.
Internet muna. Yun ang very basic. So, very basic, kailangan internet. So, yun ang focus ng DICT. And then, next will be, once maganda ng internet, so kailangan naman, ito na yung mga application. So, kailangan matutunan ng mga negosyante yung, how to use the cloud. How to use yung mga, mga applications that they can buy from Google, or Microsoft. Marami pa kasi hindi naintindihan to. And hindi na, technology is already cheap. It's already inexpensive, unlike before. You buy a big ERP, it will cost you millions. It's already like subscription. You can buy as you need. It's within reach. Kailangan lang, it has to trickle down to grassroots in the Philippines.
How about you, John? When you do your show here in High Tech, one, have you thought of a title for your program?
I have a show before, the EGO TV, and it's more on...
will you carry the same name?
I will not carry the same name. But I still look at in a way that it's more on the general talk itself, more of politics, and sports, and mainly...
Wow, from politics to sports. Sabagay, may politics sa sports. But go ahead.
And maybe also on general interest topics. And usually, these are things that we need to discuss right now, specifically issues. And one thing I'd like also to discuss is more on the ideological concept on the political side. And this would be a deep conversation, as I see. So, as I mentioned, more on the ideological aspect right now, government fails and leaders fail because of the lack of ideology. Mostly the political parties that we have right now run, but it is more only on the platform of survival. It's like more of a boat that they ride to. But after winning in the political party, they do not carry the ideology of the political party.
Wala naman tunay na political party in this country to begin with. I mean, not for anything. It's based on celebrity and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that is why this is the output that we have in terms of election. Because Filipinos are not oriented to political ideologies. Unlike in the United States, there's the Republican and the Democrats, and even themselves as a civilian, as a citizen, they identify themselves. I am a pure-blooded Republican. I'm a pure-blooded Democrat. Now here, once the last time the president won under the PDP Laban,
Yes.
everybody jumps to the PDP Laban.
Yes.
And now there is the two-party, the party.
But yan, isn't that more of legislation? I mean, Congress should work on that. I mean, maybe one, we have the very all-confusing concept of called the party list, which was created during the '87 Constitution, which won basically by one vote. And that's why we have like a mestizo, where we have the presidential and then the party system sabay-sabay, when really one is supposed to be for parliament, like a party list.
Yeah.
And one, the presidential, it's supposed to be based on specific political parties. In the old days, ano yun? Nationalista, liberal, you know.
That is why this time I'm expecting, since it is Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos who won the presidency, I'm expecting for him to carry the ideology of his father, which is more of the Filipino ideology with the political line of the democratic revolution from the center. But as of now, I'm not hearing it. But it's more of on the concept of federalism and also on the concept. And
Wala si Robin Padilla yung federalism parliament. I think,
Yeah.
But why not? Whatever works, di ba?
Yeah.
So in your program, you will discuss, there's going to be that political side.
Political side,
But more academic or?
more academic. It's more of tackling all issues, sports academically and the politics academically, climate change academically, and issues confronting the society academically.
Which hindi tayo kikita dito. Magtuturo academic, back to school. Paano tayo kikita Ikaw naman, you're with the private sector, right?
Yeah.
You teach corporations. Maybe you can even help my clients in super brands as we go along.
Yes.
But the problem is, alam mo, in corporations, I've noticed, it's very pyramidal, basically, di ba? The owner who has the most shares, sometimes, or in most cases at this stage of the game, when they're already established, they have their business model, it's a pyramid. They're in the pinnacle on top, and may edad na, many of them, sadly, are not even computer literate.
People, shows could earn on academic discussion. It was proven during the Marcos time. During the Marcos time, there were so many academic shows. There were so many quiz shows. But after that, it was all erased. We concentrate on the importing telenovela and also the soap opera. Unlike during the period of the Marcos era, even the Macapagal era, as I look at it, there were shows regarding discussing chess. There was Eugene Torreden was discussing the annotations of the chess, and there was a quiz show during the time, the National Quiz Bee, wherein every child would like to be on TV, to be on National Quiz Bee, which is I was an alumni of the National Quiz Bee 1983, and there was also a show on discussion, oration, declamation, and shows on discussing issues. But after that, it's so sad that
Wala na, it's all entertainment.
it's all entertainment. And you know, during the time when people, it's now quiz show, then everybody would sit on TV and everybody would like to answer in the family. And the trivia now, it is not happening anymore.
Tama nga yun. Tama nga na panahon, di ba? Marami nga eh. Even nagkaroon na panahon na trickle down after Marcos eh. Di ba? Yung mga kay David Celdran.
Battle of the Brains,
Yun, natatandaan ko yun eh.
IQ7 of Student Canteen, the quiz date, the National Super Quiz Bee. There were so many shows, and there was also the Spelling Bee, which is being aired live, and there was a national search, the National Science Quiz Bee science show, which is hosted by Eddie Mercado.
So in other words, programs for the greater good of the people, not just entertainment.
Tama.
Ang nangyari kasi parang yung mga broadcast networks, sinundan nila yung masa.
Yeah.
Instead of them leading and teaching and going in a specific direction to educate, to generate awareness, ang nangyari, sila ang sinundan.
Correct. Yeah.
So even the humor started to go below the gutter,
Right.
di ba?
Yeah.
I mean, There's one show that irritates me, it just boils me. That's why I stopped watching basic TV. What's the name of that guy who dresses like a woman, but we all know he's a man? Diba? I mean, to me, how can Channel 7 even swallow that? Diba? I mean, it's not palatable as far as I'm concerned. And I've got nothing against the LGBT, don't get me wrong. But let's not teach the kids to get gay, become gay, and act like a girl when you're a boy, and a boy to become a girl, etc. I mean, the moral values. Maybe the church has failed, but then again, the church always fails. But then again, let's go on another subject. Let's go back. So on your show, tell us more about what your show is going to do.
So it's going to be more educational. No?
Spot on with John then.
Pero this is going to be practical for businesses, no? Individuals. No?
So we can learn, the business community, corporate staff and whatnot, can now pay attention to your program and learn.
Yes, correct. So this is going to enable, no? So enablement, no? Enablement of small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and even professionals. No?
Right. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, no? So wanting to put up a business. There was a study conducted by Google, no? Na ang digital economy of ASEAN is going to be worth billions. So it's worth billions of dollars, no? And we need, businesses need to have a piece of that, no? Filipinos can have a piece of that, no? Alam niyo ba na sa Pilipinas, hindi mo ba pansin wala tayong unicorn na tinatawag? Ito yung 1 billion company, no? $1 billion company. No? Did you know that we don't have that in the Philippines?
San Miguel? It's not?
No, startup. I'm talking about startup. So startup, no? Indonesia has like 8 unicorns, no? So ito yung mga startups that became
the unicorn,
Malaysia have their unicorns, no? Si Vietnam, no? Alam mo yung itong yung uso na game, no? Yung Axie Infinity, no? Na uso yan. That's a Vietnam product. No? Imagine that. Pero that's something that could have been done in the Philippines. And why? Why don't we have that, no? In the Philippines? Meron tayong unicorns pero coming from big corporations like GCash, no? Siyempre galing sa Globe yan. Paymaya galing sa Globe yan. Pero wala yung pure, started by an entrepreneur, no? Tapos lumaki, naging unicorn. Wala tayong ganun. No?
Maybe, is it because barriers of entry make it much too difficult for them to become a unicorn? Because funding is not available. I know in America, may program na ganun. You come up and there's 5 investors and you tell them what your project is and whatnot, and you're asking for $200,000, whatever. May mga ganun na programs I used to watch.
Meron tayo dito, no? Merong lookalike na program like that, no? I think in CNN, no? Pero I studied that. I even wrote about it, no? I wrote about it in many of my articles, no? And based on my interviews with founders, accelerators, ito yung mga VC, no? Ang main problem ng mga Filipino startups, no, is that we are not dreaming big enough, no. Singular answer, no. We are not dreaming big enough. And I think related dito sa education.
Yeah.
Di ba, paano growing up, nakikita natin, itong mga trash content, no. Wala tayong walang ambisyon ng mga startup dito.
Kasi nga ang konsepto ng edukasyon na nangyayari sa mga akademya ay tinuturuan yung mga bawat mag-aaral maging empleyado, hindi maging
tama yun. Ayun, tama yun.
At pumunta sa abroad.
Tama yun. Alam mo ako, kasi graduate.
OFW.
Di ba, pag dati nag-aaral tayo, ang dream mo, makapagtrabaho sa malalaking companies. Di ba, PLDT, San Miguel. So, kaya yung startup ngayon, startup community, when they create a new tech company, no, laging me too, no, laging gaya, no, at laging local, no. Local lang, no? Kunyari, parking app, no? Massage app, no? Diba? Ganun nangyari. Puro mga app na localized, no? Hindi kayang lumaki, no? Look at Indonesian. Diba? Indonesia, ang population nila, half ng, double ng Philippines.
Yeah.
Pero they have 8 unicorns now, no? Diba? Yung Gojek, no? Sa kanila yun, no?
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Right, so Malaysia has Grab, no? Singapore has a lot of unicorns.
The fault lies with DepEd.
Oh, well,
it is a combination of DepEd and also the student itself. One thing lacking ang nawawala dito yung economic patriotism na tinatawag, na kung saan sa bawat Pilipino ay dapat maliwanag na pag ang Pilipino ay limbawa, entrepreneur na isang gumagawa ng isang mga produkto, uunahin ko yung gawang Pilipino bago sa gawang Amerikano o gawang banyaga. So, ang nangyari kasi sa atin, the concept of colonial mentality, what is imported is superior. Kaya minsan, natatalo yung mga local entrepreneurs natin, kinakain ng mga higanting mga kumpanya.
No, but that's basic competition in the business
Yes.
field.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know, if I can buy you out so I can kill your product, I will.
Yeah.
But this is what San Miguel's been doing over the years, PLDT.
But
and other-
that is because on the concept of monopoly. Ang problema kasi sa atin, lipunan,
sabagay.
ang problema yung ban dito sa foreign ownership. That is one problem that we have right now. Kasi, halimbawa, sabihin natin Meralco, no? Meralco. Pag ikaw naputulan ng kuryente, wala ka nang pupuntahan. Kundi
Well,
lahat-
hang on. Before they cut the electricity, we're going to take a short break. Sorry, guys. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Harry Tambotko. We're back. This is called Talk to Harry. I always try to figure out why Talk to Harry. Dapat Harry talks. Kasi ako naman nagsasalita eh. But then again, we are now on the web where you can now answer back and write all your different comments, diba? Because the world is very different now. We have Ray Luke too, who's going to be doing a show. It's called The Hungry Workhorse. And we've got John Tiope, Dr. Tiope. John, what's the name of your show? You haven't said it yet.
I'm still thinking about it because last time my show then was called Ang Laging Daan ni Doc John. And then I have also show called Let Us Discuss with Dr. John. Maybe I was thinking more of another name, a new one from that of the previous one because this show would be more maybe with the same plot or the same concept, but it is more on the advocacy on awakening people, discussing issues like that. That's why when we were cut, I was discussing
I think he's in the wrong field. Dapat naging politiko na lang. But go ahead.
we were cut about the Meralco, you know, the Meralco issue that we were cut before. What I was telling about that is that we need to erase the provision on the ban for 100 on the foreign ownership, which I mean that it's more of awakening also the people that we need foreign investors here so that the economy would grow. Kailangan natin ng mga, di ba, sabi ng Meralco.
Papalit, alam mo, ang problema niyan, you're talking opening the Constitution, di ba?
Yeah.
Eh, ang takot ng ang taong bayan dyan, naku, yung mga congressman, di naaalis yan, 50 years, 100 years. Tapos pag sinabi mo federalism, parang nangyari sa party list. Who owns the party list? It's the same congressmen who own it.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Nababoy. Kaya that's the problem because as I mentioned, yung mga show na lumalabas sa mga telebisyon, hindi na inangat yung antas ng nasyonalismo ng bawat Pilipino.
I like that.
Yung ganun yung konsepto. Kaya pagdating sa botohan, hindi na nila binoboto yung merong mga may kaalaman o may talino. So ito yung they deserve the government that they have.
Because, that's true. Yeah, but sadly it's my government too. How about me? Di ba? That sort of thing. So
Sabi ko yung 100% ownership. If you would put in foreign investors here, we would create competition.
Papayag ka ba foreigners can own land?
Yes.
Yes, dapat.
Yes. Yeah. Wala namang
Pucha, di magmamahal na naman.
yes. Kasi pag maraming competition dito sa ating lipunan, mangyayari, meron kang choices eh. At bababa pa yung presyo because of the competition. Pag pinutulang ka ng Meralco, merong American Power Corporation dyan, lilipat ako doon. Because ang nangyayari kasi, the government and the business sector is controlled by the oligarchs. Yan, isang sektor lamang. Kapati sa politika, kaya nga yung mga oligarko ay pumupondo sa gusto nilang kandidato para pagdating dun sa mga amendment sa Constitution, wag niyong gagawin yan kasi kami madadamay. Yun ang problema. It's about time for us to be open-minded.
Do you think the government and the oligarchs controlled and put BBM as president? Do you believe that is what happened? Or this is really been, as they say, the voice of the majority? Because number one, we've never seen so many people vote.
Yes.
Diba? Ang taas eh. Number two, this is the first time na nakakita tayo ng presidente na majority. Worse, this is the first time the tandem won.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yes.
President and vice president. So, do you think pwede kaya mga oligarko pa rin, sila pa rin ang gumawa nito?
Well, I think ito na yung totoong voice of the people. No? I think ito na yun eh. No? And marami na nasulat about this. No?
Ang dami nga. Pero nakakalito, it's all conflicting. Di ba? Bubi Tiglao, who writes a lot, and he points out how the... I look at it differently. No? I'm sorry. My personal point of view, everyone is so sick and tired of promises never delivered by people power and the failures of the Liberal Party, which is why talagang 3 years ago, it was ocho derecho, di ba? They Inodoro. I mean, not one senator won. Now there's only one Liberal Party left, Dilawan, which is Ontiveros. But is this the people, or you believe it's not anymore the oligarchs? It's talagang the people.
Ito na yung people talaga. No?
You agree with that?
Yeah, as I think so, because you look at it based dun sa nangyari sa nakaraang eleksyon, we see that the yellows or the kakampings are supported by the middle class.
Well, in my village where I live, Ayala Alabang is all pink, you know?
Yeah.
And I hate it, di ba? But why? With all, the DAP, SAF 44, Luneta Siege, the MRT. I mean, I can go Tanimbala. I can keep going, di ba? In failure in corporate life, when you make a mistake, you're thrown out.
Yes.
Di ba? I don't care if you're son of whoever, but you don't do well, you're out. Di ba ganun din military? Di ba? It's high discipline. You don't follow it, you're out. Di ba? Dito, the politics, maraming, kasi, I don't understand.
Actually, the most important thing in the last election is the campaign messaging. Kasi on the kakamping side, as we look at the...
against lang Marcos.
It's more of the anti-Marcos.
Anti-Marcos.
Unlike the other, it's more of unity. And more on the reforms that they discuss. So yung tao sawang-sawa na rin sa politika ng bangayan, banatan. So gusto na pagbabago na pangyayari. So it is a challenge right now for the new administration to prove that they are worthy of the 31 million votes.
Ang bigat, ano? But business-wise, we are still accelerating. I hate to say it. You know, sure, prices go up, you have problems, even the legal system has its problems. I mean, it only takes 100 years to finish a case in this country. Di ba yung ganun ba? No? I mean, if you don't fix the judiciary, there is no way, how are you going to address your issues, di ba? So, this is a new government, this is new everything.
Yes.
So, but in business, tuloy-tuloy naman if you think about it.
Yes.
Ako, even with COVID, sure, may mga nagutom, pero many of my clients, mas lalo na yung MLM sa super brands, they went up 30-40%. And I'm saying, how did you do it? Diba? Because sila tuloy-tuloy ang benta, naglalakad sa kalye, diba? They go from house to house, they have their own internal credit, how they sell, diba? And I'm just blown away. And the traditional manufacturing, sila yung nahirapan. Kasi hindi lumalabas sa supermarket, hindi na nag-grocery. People are holding back, that sort of thing. The arguments just keep going through and through. But even digitization, what you were saying, many companies now are learning.
Yes.
Pero kulang pa rin.
Kulang pa rin.
Kulang pa rin. And the smaller, medium to small, yun talaga kulang.
Yun talaga. Even you'll be surprised, even large corporations, no? Marami, alam mo, merong mga large companies in the Philippines, no, owned by the conglomerates. Alam mo, first time nila magkaroon ng video conference, no? Video, first time, during the pandemic lang nangyari.
You're right. Everyone was forced to.
Pero isipin mo, you're a global company, you're part of a conglomerate, and first time nyo lang ginawa yan. No? Diba? That tells a lot, no?
That tells a lot.
I know kung gaano ka mature yung digital, no? And you are supposed to be a global company, no? So, diba, what more, lalo na yung mga nasa babang mga companies, mga maliliit na companies.
Ako, many of my clients here in the Philippines should be surprised. There was one who told me in a specific industry, sabi niya sa akin, alam mo, Harry, because, with super brands, I get to meet the beneficial owners, the real owners, other than just the professional managers. If there are about another 7 or 8 manufacturers of like what we do, alam mo, hindi pa rin namin kaya yung demand sa Pilipinas. You're talking plastics, you're talking even appliances, di ba? Hindi pa rin kaya yung market. We have a very robust market, di ba? And it's still growing. In spite of that, but ang problema lang, like I said earlier, parang pyramid yan eh. Minsan hindi pinakikinggan yung mga professional eh. And then the old style, yung mga Chinese families, they keep the influence, the network among themselves. Minsan nakasulat, mga Lucio Tan style, di ba? Susulat sa maliit na, ito, kasi, kaya pag may problema ka dito, ito tatawagan mo. It's not professional, di ba? You see this with corporations.
Yes, meron pa rin yan. No? Paano nga, ang economy natin is controlled by a few families. No?
That's
diba?
true.
So, kaya naman, di ba, kaya nga, sinasabi, we read this a lot, no? Lumaki yung gap, no? Nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, lalong yumaman yung mga mayayaman during the pandemic, no? At lalong naging mahirap yung mahihirap, no? Paano nga, yung mga big businesses, they took advantage of the digital, no? So mabilis sila ron they have resources, whereas yung mga small companies
wala
na iwanan.
Yan nga yung task na kakaharapin ngayon ng bagong administrasyon on how to address this problem, because after the pandemic issue, many medium entrepreneurs and even mga trabahador ay nawalan ng trabaho. At yung yumaman pa yung naghirap noon na naapekto, naghirap pa rin ngayon. So the economic team of the new administration.
Do you like the new economic team? It's basically a shuffle around only. Jokno goes down to finance, Balasican goes up to central bank. But between the two, it's in order para sa akin. I don't know about the chief. I mean, but he's supposed to be very good. Diba?
Yeah, he's good. Balisakan.
Balisakan. But ikaw, you feel good that this new government and the economic team is in good order?
Yeah.
Safe tayo?
Yes, I think we were safe, specifically with the appointment of Diokno and Balisacan.
Oh nga, that's the most... Hindi, ako natatawa ako eh. The other day I was watching very quickly si Amy Marcos. Kausap niya, in-interview siya ni Karen Davila. Banat ng banat yan noon eh, kasi dilawan yan eh, mga Channel 2, di ba? Pagtanong kaya ni Amy Marcos dinerecho, ba't ka pa narito? Kala ko nag-immigrate ka na. Di ba? Kasi pag Marcos, aalis na ako ng bayan, ba't narito ka pa? That's my message sa lahat ng mga dilawan. Why are you still here? Leave. We don't need you. Di ba? Okay, okay. Politico. But okay, let's go back to your show. Are you gonna touch on politics?
Yes, no. Pero
at least legislation.
Yeah, in relation to technology, no. Paano marami rin political angles ito, no. Like social media, no. Digitization and technology, that's already becoming democratized when it comes to communication, no. Pero ang hindi pa democratized is really how you use it to your own business and to your own advantage.
Ayun,
no? Kaya ginagamit lang to communicate, no? So, di ba, social media, we're still the biggest Facebook country in the world.
I know, it's amazing.
Diba? So, TikTok is growing fast, no? The Philippines, double, no? Double lagi yan, no? And nagiging tayo, experimental ground ng social media, no? Right? So, and there's nothing we can do to police social media now, no?
You can't, unless we become Russia and China, where they block it, di ba? Huwag naman,
Huwag naman. Pero may value kasi yung social media, may value in long term, Like, ito, like education, di ba? Widespread kasi. Maglagay ka lang ng tamang content, no? Tamang content lang, no? So, kailangan i-counter mo yung content. Sinabi mo nga kanina, Harry, no? Yung traditional media, no? They gave people what people want instead of what people need. Diba? Kailangan natin food for the brain.
Not the want.
Need, diba sa marketing, ganyan dapat. What do we need as a people? No? Kailangan natin ng brain food. No? Diba? Instead na trash. No? Diba? So trash kasi nakikita natin. No? And ako, agree ako kay Dr. Jan na pwedeng balik natin yung mga ganong show, no? Diba? And technology can help, no? Paano democratize na ang technology dyan?
Thank God for iTech, we can do this.
Yes.
We don't have to go to Channel 7 and pay 1 million pesos for 30 minutes and whatnot, diba? No? Kalokohan.
Tama yun. Saka yung yung Starlink, di ba? Yung kay Elon Musk.
Okay, yeah.
Nandito na sila, no? So, mabuti, no, that, government pursue that, no? Hindi ka mukhang dati, limited tayo sa telcos, no? Diba? So, with Starlink, no, si Elon Musk naman, gusto niya democratize din, eh.
Democratize.
So, siguro one thing, Ray, yung dun sa social media is that in terms of social media is good, but the problem when it comes to information dissemination, dun pumapasok yung konsepto ng ethics eh. Nawala na. Unlike in journalism, there is the journalism ethical standards na tinatawag. Kaya
How are you gonna control that? Sige nga. Tayo, okay. You have moral backer, you have a very strong moral position. Pero marami dyan in media, sa mga radyo, naririnig ko. I mean, they even break the broadcast code by cussing on air, di ba? Di ba? It's terrible.
Yes, so wala nga, tama yun, no? Walang ethics ngayon, eh, no? Walang etiquette, no? Even etiquette lang, eh, no?
Walang ethical standards sa sinusunod.
So siguro yan pwedeng tignan ng ng regulators, no? Sa US kasi tinitignan na yan.
Tinitignan.
Di ba? So kailangan meron ng some sort of
kasi freedom of expression, you have freedom, but you do not have the freedom to miseducate the people.
Yun yung Maria Ressa, miseducation, veraphiles, di ba?
Kawawa naman yung mga bata.
But that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
It's but word morality, ethics. Nako, you get that through education, di ba? Grade school pa lang eh.
Yeah. Yes.
And then love for country,
Yes.
patriotism.
Yeah.
We're supposed to teach that. It's
Yes.
so DepEd has failed us for the last 50 years. Simple as that. It has, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, look at TV broadcast, their content. It's, in my house, I've already canceled it. No, actually, no, I still have it in my office, but only because I like to watch international news.
Right.
I don't like watching local news. It's, I don't know, even the way it's delivered, it's not there.
Right.
Diba? I mean, ibang-iba the way they deliver it abroad.
Yung education kasi, di ba? That's something that can be transformed by technology, no? Pero yun nga, kay Dr. John, yung pedagogy is one, di ba? The way, di ba, paano, up to now, I did some research about this. Up to now kasi, ang sistema sa public school and even private school is rote memorization, di ba? Di ba? You are rewarded by memorizing, di ba? Tawag ito, di ba?
That's true. That is so true.
Di ba hindi analytical? Ako, I see that with my kids in private school. Ganun pa rin eh. Di ba unlike sa mga ibang schools like sa Finland. Finland has one of the best education.
They open your mind.
Pupunta sila sa forest, no? Di ba? They, explore, no? They explore, no? Hindi yung mga, you memorize this, no? And you are rewarded, no? By memorizing. It's a wrong way of teaching, no?
That's true. That's true.
It's more of the analysis. For example, history teachers would teach history based on dates. March 16, 1541. That's the discovery of Magellan. So what is the significance? That should be the question. Then you should ask the student, what is the significance of that? So, hindi yung date. They could say this is the start of the colonization, o kumbaga nawala na yung national identity. Kumbaga sinasabi rin din sa there are untold Philippine history, sinasabi nga nila the Americans educated the Filipinos. But how could the Americans educate the Filipinos kung yung UST mas matanda pa sa Harvard University? Diba? So maraming konsepto. Bago daw dumating yung mga Kastila, wala tayong sistema ng literatura. We have the Alibata, we have the literatures, we are all educated. When the colonizers came, they brought in their own educational system. So para sumunod sa kanila. Wala daw religion. On that time, we have religion. On that time, we have paganism. Di ba? Tapos pumasok yung Christianity. So these are things na hindi na ituturo sa paaralan na sinasabi. So yung March 16, 1521, and even the Mass at Limasawa.
That's a good point. You're rewarded by memory work, which is useless.
Up to now, ganun pa rin, di ba? Natatandaan ko, elementary ako, pag nag-memorize ako ng mga, kung sino yung mga historical figures, you get the score.
And that's one thing sad also, Ray and Harry. Disregarding liberal arts education. Kumbaga, in college, sabi nila, yung mga estudyante, wag na tayo mag-aral ng history. Paulit-ulit. Pero liberal arts molds the personality of a person. The holistic personality.
And dito, yung mga liberal arts, yung mga mahihina, di ba? I remember when I was in school, everything was commerce. Di ba? Naging commerce. Then, just as of late, the last 10 years, mag-nurse na lang tayo. Hindi na doktor. Kasi mahal ang doktor, di ba?
Ako nagtuturo ako sa China eh. There was even a course there, Bachelor of Science in Philippine Studies. Chinese are studying Philippine Studies. Pero tayo, wala dito. Ayoko mag-aral ng Pilipino. Pero foreigners, they like it.
Yeah,
Why? Because
to learn.
To learn, yeah.
Pero alam mo, magandang point sa education, no? Like sa Philippines, no? Anong kurso ang sineselebrate sa atin na matindi? No? Di ba yung law, pag kumuha ka ng law, nakapasa ka sa bar, it's the most widely celebrated event in education. Diba? Pero engineering graduate, no? Wala ako, engineering graduate ako. No? Diba? Ang hirap ng engineering, no? Pero walang celebration. No? Pero pag bar exams, diba? Celebration, headline. No? Diba?
Lawyers are liars.
You mentioned a good point on that. I would like to raise the point on the technical education. Kasi, how come tayo hindi makapag-provide sa ating sariling bayan? Wala tayong mga technically skilled na tao na pine-prepare. Kasi karamihan ng Pilipino gusto maging
Blue collar worker.
Blue collar. So, pero sa ibang bansa ang binibigyan ng prioridad yung mga skilled workers, yung mga technicians. Dito pag test ka lang pero mas malaki yung kinikita nun.
Yeah, mas malaki. I remember in Australia, when I was going back and forth a lot. Which the guy, we'd get together, maybe 3 or 4 families, you come for a drink in a local pub. The guy who drives in with the Porsche is the plumber. So I went up to the guy and said, how much do you make, mate? Oh, no, we charge X amount per hour. What? Sabi ko, talo mo yung mga CEO. Oh, yes, let me tell you. And not only that, when I go into the house, I open the ref, I'll eat anything I want. Di ba yung ganun klase pa? Sabi ko, wow. Ibang-iba. The technical side is celebritized. Tayo nga baliktad. No?
Baliktad.
We want to be an employee.
Kaya nga yung technical services sa atin, like plumbing, di ba? Electrical, low quality. Low quality yan di ba? Kailangan may pagkakatiwalaan mo no? Magre-repair, di ba?
Sa ibang bansa, merong doctorate in welding engineering. So yung mga technical skills na yun, they prioritize that.
Yeah.
Even mga female nga in other countries, they would like to hire female welders rather than the males.
No, they pay a lot abroad, but here they pay a dime.
Pero alam mo, Dr. John, paano nga ako, graduate ako engineering. So, yung ang engineering courses yung bumababa ang enrollment and paano nga walang industry sa atin There's no industry services sa atin so pag graduate ka engineering ang option mo mag-abroad
because what company what machinery you're going to operate
so that's the one problem
but we had that 30 years ago 40 years ago.
Yes.
And then it all went to China.
That's the point that I like to raise, that yung foreign investors, papasukin natin dito so that there will be so many company, maraming job opportunity for
maraming mga planta, di ba? Mga planta magsiset up. Then it supports the economy.
Baka pumasok naman dyan mga dambuhalang korporasyon. Putya, gaya ng iTech. Putya, papasukan ka ng mga the manufacturers of all of this equipment. Putya, talo ka kagad.
Ang konsepto naman kasi dito you look at China. When the Mao Revolution nanalo, tinanggal nila yung Coca-Cola, tinanggal nila yung mga industry. Naghirap sila. Ganon. So they realized na kailangan pabalikin because they do not have the technology. What did they do?
So technological transfer when they come in, don't remain to be under the foreign investor,
So
but learn it and do it and duplicate.
Okay, they learn it. And when they learn, kick out na nila, di ba? Tapos what they do in Hong Kong, di ba? Sige, sa inyo muna sa British yan. Once we have the money, we buy back our own independence. So okay lang yun We think a long-range basis, kumbaga. Dapat malayo ang foresight.
Alam mo, tama yan. Wala tayong foresight as a country, no? Dr. John, paano? I'm attending a course now sa DAP, yung foresight and future thinking. And I learned that na tayo pala sa ASEAN, tayo ang country na hindi nag-iisip ng future, based on studies. Tayo.
Sarap ng buhay ng Pilipino
Lagi tayong di ba, gagawa tayong product and result na kagad. Hindi natin iniisip.
Quick return.
Yan, tama yan. Hindi natin iniisip, ano ba to long term, Ganon raw tayo as a country. Tama ba yun?
Tama nga. Parang alam mo, pag ako naging empleyado, wala kang foresight maging entrepreneur o maging manager someday Ang iniisip mo, yung retirement mo, pension mo. So in the Chinese setup, ang kanilang ginagawa niya, I'm employee by now, but then I would be what? The owner of the company.
Eventually.
Kaya marami sa China ngayon, diba, mga billionaires. Yung mga,
they have a lot.
marami rin, mga
Yeah.
tech billionaires.
Tech.
Diba, yung mga big tech ngayon, like TikTok. No?
Yeah.
TikTok sa
Na
China.
ito, si Alibaba lang.
Alibaba. No?
Yeah,
Diba?
yeah.
So, tapos si Huawei. No? Huawei dati unknown yan. No?
Yeah.
Ngayon, they are bigger than the American companies.
Yes. How do we jumpstart that for our country?
Well, ito
Legislation? Well, one, the
education
barriers
is one.
of entry. So,
The barriers of
legislation first.
Legislation, yeah. It's more.
Which how are we going to work with the congressmen?
It is more of a systems change. Yeah.
But these guys, they're all the oligarchs in Congress. To run, it takes a lot of money.
Well, that's why, I think with the current administration, because BBM was voted by the people. No? Diba? Ito nga, sinabi mo nga, Ari, first time in the history. That must mean something. No? So, kailangan makinig siya sa
I remember, Ari, during the time of his father, it was his father who was also the enemy of the oligarchs. Diba?
He was, yes.
So maybe by now he could do that also.
Well, I look at BBM basically because he has a legacy to correct. I mean, after the 30-odd years that they've been hit by the Dilawans, he's got, this guy is the only guy that has passion to do something good for the country. Tingin ko hindi na pera ang habol nito But you've got the whole system, di ba? You've got the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative. The legislative is also controlled basically by the oligarchs. Di ba? I tried to run for Congress in 2013. I told you that, di ba? Among the 6 players that we were contesting for the position, none of them, I was the only one who had a platform. My platform was basically to build a circumferential road on Laguna de Bay to create the transportation, because as of now, even the skyway is already puno na. It's full, di ba? SLEX is full. Thank God this Ramon Ang that brought this itong NLEX connection, the skyway, I mean, it's great. I'm just saying it can get very frustrating because it takes money to get into Congress, and when they're there, it's an all-boys club. I've been inside that room, when they get out of the plenary. Diba, there's that room they all sit in, where you have coffee or whatever. Pag nasa loob yan, sila, nako. It's an all-boys club. Tell me the Senate if they don't hit each other. If you notice, they don't. Harap-harapan, laruan pagpasok sa loob ng kwarto, parang galing mo. Diba? Wow! Diba, I mean, so how do we change this? The system, okay. Legislation. How do we make them legislate something that's against them? For example, dynasty. Ang hirap. How do we kill dynasty? But there are good and there are bad dynasties. Hell, you've got the Kennedys. Diba? You've got Lee Kuan Yew's family. Diba? There are some good dynasties, but there are also some that are ridiculous na. From the town mayor to the councilor to the all the way down to Congress, lahat sila magkakapamilya. Look at Aurora. The whole family is all one family, the Aurora province, di ba?
Kaya nga the Political Reform Act being pushed since 2004, yun ang dapat mapasa sa Congress. Kasi in the Political Reform Act, the part of the budget of the government would be given to the political parties.
Instead of one person, instead of the elected official.
All parties would have a share of the fundings from the national government. Kaya pag tatakbo ka ngayon, hindi ka na obligadong humingi ng pondo sa mga campaign contributors. Tsaka kung wala kang pera bilang kandidato, you could run. May kakayanan ka. The one was the right to run right now, tumakbo, yung mga may pera. Pag wala kang pera, magaling ka, talo ka.
Well, nag-iiba na ngayon with social media.
Yes.
I mean, look at the big network stations. I mean, we are now challenging them right spot on, di ba?
Yes.
And, they're even lacking content. In fact, they even buy content from abroad and translate it, di ba? Because they have nothing to air.
Yun naman ang maganda sa technology. Paano equalizer ang technology.
It is.
So, like itong last election, paano we did some social media management for some politicos, local. And it can be an equalizer kung wala kang budget, no? With the right strategy, it is marketing strategy, no?
Yes,
Diba, the right messaging or the right time, so it's something that you can manage, no?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I hope you're looking forward to the shows that you're going to be doing here in ITEC.
Of course,
because we need you. No, I mean, the concept of Renz, the proprietor here, his long-term goal really is to create content that will help the country to improve the Filipinos. Basically, not just to do not just to do commerce, generate funds and sell block time, whatever, but to improve, to come up with good quality programs. And you too, wow. You got to think of a name for your show. Or it's just going to be called Dr. John Chope. Diba, right? At least siya, meron na siyang hungry workhorse. Ako, meron na akong Talk to Harry. Pero actually, Harry Talks kasi di naman kayo nakakasalita. Ako lang salita na salita, di ba?
Pero digital na, they will talk to you.
Yeah, sabagay. Okay. We're going to have to close it already. We're going to close the program for today. How about your message to our viewer?
Well, watch out for my show, no? So it's going to be Hungry Workhorse, no? We will tackle technology, but it's going to be grassroots, related, no? So we will talk about how to use technology for progress, no? Democratizing technology to small companies, no? And even individuals, no?
Okay, we're going to look forward to that, Ray, and let's see as you push it. Dr. John, soon you'll have a name, di ba? Why not just call it Dr. John?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good name for a show.
Actually, there was a concept then before that they like to name my show Dr. John OT.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So on my show, you would expect a lot of talk and more of codings and also deep conversations. Siguro doon makikita niyo yung malalim na usapan, medyo gigising sa inyong kaisipan at bawat mamamayan. I-discuss ang mga issues sa ating lipunan at kahit paano babanat sa mga taong nangaapi sa ating bayan.
He's beginning to sound like Tulfo. Di ba? Yeah. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the program right here in iTech channel. We'd like you to subscribe. We'd like you to comment. And if you just keep tuning in, we promise we'll be bringing and introducing to you multiple shows, multiple hosts, but basically with one objective in mind: improving the global health of our country and for the public good. I hope you've enjoyed the show. My name is Harry Tambuatco. Thank you. I'll see you next week.